Hello students, welcome you all. I'm Mrs. Divya dealing with chapter 1 reproduction in organisms, and this is the 8th lecture. So previously we have discussed the pre-fertilization events. Next coming to fertilization or syngamy. So what do you mean by this term? So I hope you have understood which are the pre-fertilization events. It is the first is the formation of gametes, that is gametogenesis, then the gamete transfer takes place. Now next, what happens after the gametes come closer to each other? Next process is the fertilization. What is this? It is a process of fusion of haploid sperms with a haploid egg to produce a diploid zygote or the oosperm. Okay, remember this definition. It is a 1-mark question. What is fertilization? Process of fusion of gametes. So both these terms, that is syngamy and fertilization, they mean the same. Both are one and the same. They are used interchangeably, right? So these are the events which lead to, that is fertilization involves all the events which lead to syngamy, that is fusion of gametes. So this is the important process in sexual reproduction, children, because it is not only it restores the diploid configuration. Because of this fusion itself, you can see the chromosomal number is maintained, right? And it also combines both the characters, the paternal and maternal characters, so which is the most essential thing for variation to take place, right? So as you all know, in turn variation leads to evolution and speciation, right? So that is why syngamy or fertilization is the most important event in sexual reproduction. So let us see which are the types of fertilization, because the most important question will be, where does this fertilization occur? So based on that, we can classify the fertilization into mainly two types, that is external fertilization and internal fertilization. Apart from this, fertilization can also be classified to be self-fertilization and cross-fertilization. Okay, we'll discuss what are these terms. Firstly, what is external fertilization? So here, if the fusion of male and female gametes takes place outside the body of the organism, that is outside the female body in any external medium, is said to be external fertilization or external syngamy. So outside the body in the sense where? So generally it requires a medium, such as it may occur in aquatic medium. Most of the time it is the aquatic medium. Okay, so that is why most of the time it is the aquatic animals which show this type, or it is also the amphibians which show mainly the external mode of fertilization. Okay, so common examples here you can give, such as algae, the fishes, the amphibians, right? So here the males are not provided with any copulatory organs because there is no what transfer of gamete into the female body. So that is why the process of copulation or the process of mating is absent in these animals, because both the animals, they lay the gametes outside. The gametes are released into an external medium, right? So here the release of gametes, that is as I told you, into the surrounding medium, it takes place generally in the water medium. So this process is commonly called as spawning. Generally we say it in the amphibians. Spawning takes place, right? So here you can see that a large number of gametes are shed into the water body, right? Because as you all know, it is also a chance factor. So that is why it enhances the chances of fertilization as large number of gametes are released. Okay, so that is why we can see that a large number of offsprings are also produced. But the major disadvantage is that the offsprings are not protected from the predators, and the survival is also threatened up to their adulthood, right? Because there is no protection in the initial developmental stages as they are growing outside in the external medium. Whereas the internal fertilization, if you take, what is this? It is nothing but the fusion of male and female gametes which takes place within the female genital tract. Okay, so that is the fusion of gametes takes place inside the body of the female parent. That is called as internal or internal fertilization or internal syngamy. So it occurs mostly in terrestrial organisms, right? So this is, or generally we can say in the higher organisms like reptiles, birds and mammals. Okay, so it is the common feature in these terrestrial animals. So here the males are provided with the copulatory organs. What are copulatory organs? Which are meant for transfer of sperms, male gametes into the female body. But except in birds, where internal fertilization is achieved. Okay, so here in birds they don't have copulatory structures, but it is through the cloaca itself. Remember that. So what happens here is during mating, the male gametes they are discharged into the female genital tract. Okay, so the male gametes they enter the female genital tract. So there itself in the female body the fertilization or the fusion takes place and the offspring develops inside the female body. So here the chances of fertilization are certain, right? There is no risk factor. So that is why the number of gametes produced are relatively less here when compared to what? External fertilization. Okay. So when you take here in the self fertilization, so that is about the external and internal. So here also differences can be asked, children. Differentiate between external and internal fertilization. Next, coming to self fertilization. So this self fertilization is seen in bisexual organisms because both the sex organs are present in the same individual. So here a single organism, it possesses both the male and female reproductive structures. So they need not search for a partner for reproduction. One exception you can give your students, that is between earthworm and leech, though they are bisexual organisms, they practice cross fertilization because the gametes in them they are not produced at a time. Though they are bisexual, both the sex organs are present in the same individual, but the gametes are not produced simultaneously. So that they are matured at different intervals of time. That is why they have to grow for cross fertilization. Next, you all know what is cross fertilization. That is, this occurs in unisexual organisms. As single sex organ is present, only single gamete is produced, and the male gamete is transferred into the female body. That is either their what internal or external fertilization may take place, right, leading to the fusion of gametes. So this is about self and cross fertilization. Okay, hope you have understood the concept of fertilization. Another important phenomenon you can see in some organisms, which is termed as parthenogenesis. Now what is this term, children? In some organisms we can see that the egg develops into an embryo without being fertilized. That is development of an egg into a complete individual without the without the process of fertilization. It is said to be parthenogenesis. So here the terms parthenos means virgin. These are Greek terms. Parthenos means virgin and genesis is birth. So it is also commonly called as virgin birth. Okay, so this was discovered for the first time in animals by scientist Charles Bonnet in 1745. Right. So here Mainly, there are two types of parthenogenesis. One is said to be natural and the other one is artificial. So it occurs in its natural course in many invertebrates, right? Such as in the rotifers, where it occurs spontaneously, that is naturally, it is regularly in the life cycle of these animals. So that is why we call it to be the natural parthenogenesis, right? So based on the sex of the offspring, it can be classified into three types there. That is, among the natural parthenogenesis, based upon the sex of the offsprings, they are again classified into three types. Okay, so as I told you, natural, it is nothing but it is regularly taking place in the life cycle of the organisms. Examples such as most of the invertebrates like rotifers, arthropods. In arthropods only you have crustaceans, insects, right, bees, beetles, the grasshoppers, and in the arachnids like spiders, mites, and also in many vertebrates. Okay, in some birds like turkey. So here you can see natural parthenogenesis take place. Okay, whereas artificial, if you see, which is induced, artificial in the sense nothing but induced. It is found in many group of organisms like annelids, mollusks, echinoderms, amphibians, and also sometimes in mammals also parthenogenesis is induced. All this for commercial purpose. Okay. So coming back to this types of natural parthenogenesis. So there are mainly three types. One is arenotochy, teletochy, and amphitochy. So in detail, they have not mentioned all these in your NCERT textbook. It is just for some extra information for your competitives. So what is this arenotochy? It is also called as haploid parthenogenesis. So here arene in the sense male, topos in the sense birth. So it is the development of an haploid egg into a haploid male individual. Remember, the egg here, it is no doubt the egg itself develops into the individual, complete individual. Okay, so here egg develops into the haploid male. Only males are produced by parthenogenesis, right? So this type occurs in insects. Then in the arachnids you can see like honeybees, wasps, ticks, mites, then some of the lizards and also few birds. The one common example you might have studied, that is the drones of honeybees. So you know, in honeybees a colony consists of many different types of individuals like the queen bee, the worker bees and the drones, right? So here the drones are produced by this process of parthenogenesis. So here the egg develops into the male bee, those are called as the drones. Okay, so it is an example for arenotochy. Next one you have teletochy, which is also called as diploid parthenogenesis. So here teles in Greek means female. So it is female birth. So in this type of parthenogenesis, the diploid egg here develops into a diploid female embryo without fertilization. So here only female is produced by parthenogenesis. Okay, so this is found in grasshopper, you can see, right? Then in moths, crustaceans, some of the crustaceans, that is the group Lepidoptera you can find there, and a few salamanders also. Then the last type is amphitochy. Amphi means both. Both. Tokos means both. So here egg may develop into individual of any sex. In this type of parthenogenesis, here the egg may develop into any, either male or female can be produced. So example here is aphids. So this is about parthenogenesis, natural parthenogenesis. Next, coming to artificial or induced, as I told you. So in this type of parthenogenesis here, the eggs are induced to develop artificially in the laboratory conditions. Okay, so the egg develops into a complete individual by artificial stimulation. So it might be induced either by physical as well as the chemical stimuli. So that is said to be artificial parthenogenesis. So artificial parthenogenesis has been tried in many animals. The eggs of different animals were used, they have been using, such as in the annelids, mollusks, okay, in the echinoderms, fishes also, amphibians, aves, that is the birds, etc. So experiments are going on in these different types of organisms. Okay, so here the artificial parthenogenesis, it is accomplished by different agents also. As I told you, it might be physical, the chemical stimulus, or the electrical stimuli, the mechanical stimuli, okay, such as by changing the temperature, the pH, by giving electric shocks, UV light, right? So these are some of the different stimuli, or also chemicals. As I told you, salt concentrations might be used, chloroform is used, urea, fatty acids, right? So all this to induce parthenogenesis. Okay, so in plants also, not only in the animals, this phenomenon is found. So in plants, the formation of this fruits, okay, so that is the development of fruits here you can see without the process of fertilization, and this is called as parthenocarpy, and those seedless fruits are called as parthenocarps, right? So hope you have understood the concept. So here in your NCERT, they have given you only what is parthenogenesis in detail. Much it has not been explained, right? So you have studied here about fertilization and parthenogenesis. In the next video, we'll discuss about the post-fertilization events. Okay. So thank you, children.